Hello. So today we're going to look at a week 2 PPC game between Pickled Pepper and Flashpoint. So you might notice that I have Epic Pen open and I also have the game open on the screen, which means I can draw on stuff now. It looks a bit weird. I can't get like the way my computer renders things is on like it's weird. So it's gonna have to stay in windowed mode like this, which is gonna look. It's fine. It lets me draw. And I wanted to go over specifically some of the non-in-game stuff. Like I wanted to look at drafts a bit more, and then I wanted to look at map bans and map picks. So we're going to talk about that a bit more. So first thing you do, map picks and bans. Pickled Pepper have first pick, which this is whoever has uh, first pick is decided by a coin flip. By the way, not any seeding or anything. It's a literal coin flip. It You should be prepared for both. Like you don't really prepare to be first pick in a series or something, but it's just something that's interesting to know. Um, let's look at the map bans. Fish Market, Warder's Gate, Shattered Desert, and Bazaar. So I'm not sure what order they go in. Like I assume it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, I don't know. Maybe Bazaar was banned first for Flashpoint, but it doesn't really matter too much. So I think Fish Market. First of all, it's interesting to note that three out of these maps were not in the map pool last split. So that's I think that's interesting and kind of telling, showing like which maps people don't like to play and which maps could potentially use reworks. So chances are Fish Market and Warders. These like first of all, I just want to say these bans and the draft is going to be heavily influenced by the fact that Pickled Pepper is, I believe, full console or mostly console. Um, which is weird because Fish Market is a really good map for hit scans, and Warder's Gate is also a pretty decent map for hit scans, right? There's a lot of long poke fights. So it's probably just Pickled Pepper haven't played these maps. So that's potentially something interesting. Like if you're another team, like if you're Snapping or Sanguine, and you look at this, you say, hey, unless Pickled Pepper is like actually picking these maps against us in scrims and they're practicing and getting good at them, they're probably going to ban these again. So you could potentially target ban some maps. So teams are definitely paying attention to these map bans because they're interesting. Flashpoint, Bazaar is a pretty standard ban. That map sucks. Everyone hates it, and it also has frame drops. So no one likes the map design, and no one likes that the map makes you play worse. So that's a thing. Very cool hybrids. And then Shattered Desert is probably the worst design map in the game. Like at least visually, like there's no callouts on that map. It's all just left, right, mid because nothing is easily identifiable. Like how are you gonna compare back left to back right? Like one side is a hill, and that's about it, right? So you're gonna have a call it called hill or and then hill and not hill. Like no, people just use left and right. So I think there's a rework coming for that map, like a visual rework in the progress thing they posted to the roadmap. But anyhow, it's not a map that's been in rotation for a long time, and it's not the most fun map either. Then we go to the map pick, and Drag Falls is a very console heavy, or console favored map. Like console teams love it because console teams tend to play really deathball-y and really together. And Drag Falls really favors that sort of play style. Like you'll see a lot of beefy tanks, a lot of backliners like a Grover or something. Um, and yeah, console players like that sort of play style. It works on Drag Falls. It's They play it a lot, so it's kind of a obvious first pick for them. Um, so looking at okay, so we're on Jag. Uh, Interesting stuff on Jag is we see a cat. Okay. Um, so first of all, interesting things about the roster. I believe yes, that is Pickled Pepper on full console. And Flashpoint, you have Dose Up still on main tank, but you have Vex as your flex DPS who plays off tank. You have, I mean, Fisheko is fine. T-Mac is like you have the weirdest mashup of roles if you're Flashpoint here. Like this is so far from the team that was supposed to just come in and crush everyone at the beginning of Split 1. So I think it's interesting. You could also say, well, they're probably not going to put Vex on tank, so you're expecting triple DPS out of them. So going for what you want to draft on this map, we are slowly approaching a point in the game where there's enough viable things that you can tailor your draft to your team and not what is meta, right? Like you can, if you want to play two tanks, you want to play slow, go for it. If you want to play aggro triple DPS, go for it. You want to play double support every game, go for it. There are enough viable things that these drafts are going to be really specific to teams. So the best we can kind of do is look and say, okay, what was this team going for? There is still some busted stuff. IO is still banned, which is huge. But it's kind of what do both teams want to play? And if you're on Jag and you're Flashpoint, you're probably playing triple DPS. I think Corvus is super high priority because it lets you spread out super far all the time, and there's no other support that can really do that. So I'm gonna speed this up a bit. Oops. And just pause when stuff happens. So Cassie ban, I'm not really sure why. Like that seems like a console thing. Like I'm not really sure why you'd ban Cassie. Cassie's just like a really standard DPS, right? Like, oh no, they banned Cassie. Now, oh no, we'll just have to take Leon or any other DD, right? Like, I don't really understand that. So, like the things that Cassie does well into, it's like, okay, why would they ban Cassie? Are they looking for like something that isn't very good into burst? Which makes me think Eevee, right? But it's a console team, so I honestly have no idea what the Cassie ban's for. Genos, he's strong. Maybe you're just trying to take that option away. Like you could see Genos Corvus ban if you're Flashpoint and just try to play slower off cap and get a sort of eliminate that advantage in DPS. So I think Corvus is going to be really high priority. Straw ban. So maybe just looking to eliminate the more PC heavy backliners, and then take like Vivian Victor, or at least take Vivian. I haven't seen any of this, by the way. I know how the series ends. I don't know drafts. I don't know maps. I don't know the scores. I just know the overall score of the series. So we do see Corvus ban, so they are just getting rid of the damage amp supports. Cool. So now you're probably going to have Grover and Damba. And now it becomes very much a battle of who's going to burn point better, because both of those supports want to play off cap. So Nara's probably going to be pretty heavy contested, just because she works really well on this map. Term and BK are also available. So if your first pick here, I mean, Nara wouldn't be bad. If you want to pick something else, then that's fine, but I think Nara is the safest. It kind of depends how you want to play. So Vivian I don't agree with, just because it's really early. Eevee's still up, BK is still up. Stuff that out Pokeser is still up. You can still take a Victor. And I feel like if you don't get Vivian, you're fine. But Vivian's also like just one of the strongest CPS in the game right now, and it's a console team, so like I don't think it's bad. I just don't know what it does for them, right? Like that seems like a very, ooh, Vivian's strong, let's take Vivian. So Flashpoint for Grover and Andro. So this to me says they want to play slow right off the bat, and it tells me they don't care if they get an R or Terminus. It's like that's what I think they're trying to do. They're trying to take stuff that outpokes the Vivian in main. They're trying to get a good anti-flank so they can't get pinched on, and they're trying to play off point. So if you're Pickled Pepper, now it's like, okay, that's what they're trying to do. Do we want to like take the NR away from them? Do we want to take some really aggressive stuff and like try to, you know, play really fast against them? NR Victor, so I mean, that explains the Shaw Cassie bans a bit. Now it's like, okay, what do Flashpoint even have available for backliners? Like, there's Leon. I was gonna say Binary Star. There's Tyra. There's, man, I'm gonna pull up a list of characters. Hold up. Oh, don't know this. No leaks. And champions. Okay. So what do they have that's available? You could do Tiberius. You could do, that's really it. Tiberius, Amani. I wouldn't do Amani here. Tiberius Tyra. Like that's it. It's like there's not many good options for Flashpoint. So like right now you're probably looking for like Term and then your DD, or maybe you want to take a counter pick. Maybe you want to take something like an EV here and just have a flank in both lanes, and then finish out the draft like a Term and a Tiberius, and just put one flank in each lane and then play really hard at main. That could work well. It's a bit awkward with the Grover, but so ROM. Okay, so that's just a 180 in the draft there. So Flashpoint now. I mean, you have a ROM, right? Like you wanna go in with the ROM. It's a bit awkward with the Grover, because Grover it doesn't really synergize well. Like I feel like if you want to go in with a ROM, you could have taken Eevee and Damba or Eevee and Furia or something. So not pretending to understand that too much. And then what are they going to take as their last? Because that kind of shows us what they're thinking. So we can take Zen. Okay, yeah. So they're looking to play aggressive. The Grover's fine if you like play really hard in a lane, but then it also means that the flank on the other side of the map, because like you're mostly going to send like most of your people to one lane and then someone or two people to the other side, and you're just going to try to pinch them. So it doesn't really do too well with the Grover. But I mean, the Zen is just to go in and does well into console. That's spicy. Pretty much my reaction was Kresnik's reaction there. And then I have to take this. What are they taking Torvald for? Okay. So, God, it's been so long since I've seen Torvald. This honestly might just be an anti-dive thing. Like, they dive onto your Vivian. Vivian pops shield. They break shield. Torvald gives her another shield. That you break that shield, and then like by that time the fight's probably over. So that's spicy. It does really well into what Flashpoint have. Like the silence does a lot of work. So that's interesting, but I'm scared it's just gonna get run over. So like yeah, Pickled Pepper are now the ones trying to play off point because they burn point better. Pretty much no matter. I mean, you could take okay. If you really wanted to, you could take Term and like try to play off point if you're Flashpoint, because like that would do really well into Vivian and Victor, and it also like Riesel like would help you survive a lot, especially since you get Riesel 2 round 1. But I don't know. I think if you wanted to really go in, you could do like an Ashe. I don't know how I feel about triple DPS. I mean, they actually have Vex. You kind of have to go triple DPS, don't you? Alex. Okay, so this is just full dive, pretty much. It's a really weird full dive, but it's full dive. Like, this is just going to be Flashpoint running in and trying to make something happen. So, instead of watching a broadcast, let's actually watch the game in third person. This can be super weird having Paladins on my second monitor. So, yeah, so Flashpoint wants to go in. So let's draw what this might look like. What can I? Aha. Okay. So, Pickled Pepper. You know, have like Anara. Do I want to draw out the letters? That's the lot. And then Torvald and like Victor Vivian. Like, you probably have. Like, if you're Flashpoint, you will probably want Rom going this way. You want maybe Zin and Andy going this way. And you're just gonna ignore main. You can't do anything with main. So it's like, do you send 2 people, or do you send 1? And then do you send 4 people, or do you send 3? And that's really the only questions that I have for Flashpoint. It's like, how do you want to get to the backline? Because you definitely want to get to the backline. And then Pickled Pepper, I don't know. It's Torvald, right? Like, it's weird. I'm not really sure what how they're trying to play this. It's like, you could meet one of their off lanes, right? Like, you could meet the ROM with like Vivian or something. Let's sped up a bit. Yeah, so we are going to see it's T-Max, so you can see the Andy there. That makes sense. Jalen almost dies. And now, you notice how, okay, Flashpoint's got poked out. This is really bad for a dive. So, like, I guarantee they've had to use cooldowns. They've had to use a lot of stuff just because, like, they got poked out. They didn't go fast enough. And now, yeah, you're pretty much working off this pinch here. Right? Jalen dies because Vivian just... Okay. Torvald. How much record did they get? Okay, so Torvald still exists, I guess. Like that was literally just like console Viv ran at 5 people or 4 people and 1. Like I doubt they were expecting that, but I'd like to see Flashpoint go in early. And oof, Torv is by himself. Yeah, okay, there you go. That's what should have happened. That was really good. Like they lose 1, but you're fine with that. That's fine. That's what should have happened. Flashpoint didn't do it early enough though. And this definitely favors Flashpoint as the later round goes on because Pickled Pepper falls off really hard to Haven, Rezel, and Wrecker. And Caught doesn't really bother Flashpoint too much. I stagger out Anar. Victor has ult. I'm gonna keep the damage chart up actually because I think it's gonna be really interesting this game. So we're full holding, but we've decided, hey, we're just gonna leave this side will open, so if someone wanted, they could play slow over here, push out this side, and then you're essentially fighting along this line, and you've given up all this, and you only have this. It's not great. So like what you'd want to do, like you win by setting up for dives, so you'd probably have like Andy, oh it's blue now, I don't know. It's kind of just like, okay, how do we want to get on top of them? Actually, it's like, yeah, I think that's actually the best way to do this. Where do we want to get on top of them? And the best place for that is somewhere in the open. It's probably going to be like somewhere in this box, right? Okay, no, not there. It's going to be like somewhere, here, how do I draw this? Somewhere like this. This is like the kill box. Like as soon as the Victor Viv get in here, you want everyone to be like hiding behind corners. Like let's say yellow is Flashpoint, you want everyone like here, and like maybe someone behind this wall over there. That's an arrow, I promise. And then as soon as they get in here, someone says, okay, we're going on Victor. Let's say Victor's here, and then everyone just zoom, and then Victor dies, and then you win the fight because he just killed the Victor, and that's how you win. Like all of a sudden they don't have enough damage to kill everything because like not great damage. So if you're Pickled Pepper, what you want to do is you want to play really, really hard together. And then at that point, it's just like, okay, who plays that fight better? Who has better target priority? Who's in the better positions? A whole bunch of micro stuff. But a good Victor ult kills 2. Pickled Pepper didn't even bother with, like, taking the space. They just kind of... Torv versus Rom, Battle of the Century. They didn't even bother taking space, they just ran at them. And then Flashpoint lost because Flashpoint loses when they're not diving. So. Second joke. Again, same thing. So it's like, where do we want to set up? I'm going to steal a term from Overwatch here. Where do we want to set up this kill box? So if you're Flashpoint, we're going to draw some yellow this time. If you're Flashpoint, kill box is probably like it's out in the open, right? So it's like somewhere here. This isn't going to be a box, but it's like it's this. This is the kill box. As soon as Victor and Viv get in this area and they're like somewhat vulnerable, you send 5 people at them, and hopefully that works. So again, if you're Pickled Pepper, have Domba play with the Victor, have Tor play with the Vivian, have an RPL, use ults. Like, there's ways for you to deal with it, but taking poke fight, not great. Not great if you're Flashpoint, because you see how like Lux is half, and now Grover's gonna have to use heal when he could have used heal during the fight. Okay, so like, okay, Vivian was out in the open there. She was out in the open, and then Fisheko went before his tank. So that's sort of like an execution thing. Oh, I don't have my volume up very high. Hope that's fine. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. Actually, no, I'll leave we'll raise it a bit. So that was a mistake from Fisheko. If you want to be diving, so ideally the ROM goes in first, and that way you have this. How much effective HP does ROM have? Like a lot? I don't know. So this ROM is soaking up all the damage for the squishies, and then the squishies are able to do whatever they want for free. So that's making space, right? In this case, it's soaking up damage for your squishies, but instead it was Fisheko soaking up 2k HP instead of Dosa soaking up 2k HP. And then like you notice whenever they're not diving, they just fall over, right? That's just a comp thing. Like there's no way you win any sort of slow fight. Like Flashpoint's comp is definitely like harder to pull off. So I'm just gonna. Oh, 1 second, 1 second. Okay. So again, same thing for Flashpoint. Where's the kill box? Well, Vivian's by herself on the left right now. Hey, would you look at that? Cool. Oh no. Good play from Fuseka. Good attempt by Legacy though. Like Torvald ult is garbage. So. Look at that. That was really good from Flashpoint. That's how they win. Good job. So now again, okay. Which choke are we holding, and where is the kill box? I mean, they're just staggering an R right now, so that's fine. Doesn't really matter.
You are not welcome.
I'm gonna try to turn this. Oh no. Oh, I hit the button, sorry. Alright, let's get back up. So, what I meant by oh no is oh no. So, Flashpoint isn't diving something, they're gonna lose. And someone's respawning, so if you want to dive in an R, that's a fine target. You just gotta make sure that, like, you have Ka and that she doesn't have cooldowns. So, that was just a failed stagger. Oh, well, it wasn't a stagger, they didn't get kills. And now, notice how this fight is scrappy. Like, Jalen vined out, Sheko is ulting in, like, everyone's doing different things, and Pickled Pepper's gonna win this fight 90% of the time.
That enemy is unstoppable. Somebody do something.
That was a good ult. I don't know why Emmett was, like, that far up in main. Like, he was holding hands with his Inara, which, I mean, you don't need to do that.
Alright, they're getting hot.
Big fear. Torvald pocketed Victor, just running down things.
Y'all really just let them triple kill you?
I mean, you see how much harder this comp is to pull off if you're Flashpoint. Like, they've had to play perfectly. And then Pickled Pepper is just herder, just sit there, bubble the DPS and have them tilt their controller a bit. Or move the controller stick forward, whatever. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but Flashpoint needs to dive on something. They just used everything. And if you're Flashpoint, you should know that. Like, you saw Victor ult, you can assume he's close. You saw Dom ult late, you saw Torv takes like an entire round to build. Inara was used late. And I mean, you might not know about Vivian, because Vivian isn't the easiest ult to track. Because it's not like super obvious, but... See if they change up rollout. Like, I think rollout was fine. Like, yeah, you just ignore the Inara, right? And then Pickled Pepper's just trying to live. As soon as the fight starts, Inara should leave, though. Okay, what is... They're so scared. They're so scared. So if you're gonna send the ROM around, that's fine. It's still the same concept. You're still pinching people, but ROM doesn't really have the damage to kill anything by himself. Like, he does, but it's gonna take a while. So I'd much rather have someone following him. So he kind of dashed early, but like if you had someone mount through Sun, like mount, I can show this now. Because like Rom sort of dashed and then ended up here. If you had someone follow him, there would have been no way they get dismounted. And then you have two people. Like, imagine if Fusheko's right there, right? Then you have, like, Vivian either has to decide, okay, am I going to keep inting these people who probably live, right? Like, they can kite this for a long time. And then meanwhile her backline's dying. So it's good, but okay, yeah, I mean, that's sort of like the ROM. I mean, that's just the ROM thing, right? Like, Vivian's like, come on, team, let's go. And she turns around and is like, team? And there's like 5 people shooting a ROM. That's how ROM works. I mean, it worked out. I mean, Fasheko got an angle onto the people that Dosup's ulted, so it's not like a huge deal. And this is the other bad part about their comp that's like tough to execute. If you win a fight, you don't get cap time. You have to win almost 2 fights on every mid. Good attempt. Like, they can't stand on point here or else they lose. Right? Because then you're not playing to your comp strengths. So they have to dive something again. Which is fine, but now Pickled Pepper have ults. Alright, we're gonna do it again, boys. Sheko gets a nice pinch sort of thing. different targets. I will say is that Dosips and T-Mac and like there's so like they've split up. Like you can't do that. Otherwise, your damage is gonna like you're gonna get 2 things low instead of killing 1 thing.
You are not welcome here.
Ooh, that's a good ult. Feel is fragging.
Escort our fair lady.
Yeah, I mean that's a risk that you run with this comp.
Okay, real talk. Time to stop that guy.
Yeah, so I mean they got split. That was a good attempt at a dive, and they didn't like. Wonderful is literally just like, so this is such a hard comp to pull off from Flashpoint. It's doable and it works. It works well, but it's hard to do. You have to play so much better. So much better than your opponent, not like so much better than they're playing right now. Hey, look at us not diving and all getting low because they actually have the the execution squad set up on face. Oh, that ult. Like, look how much damage they're taking. Yeah, they get trades, but like of course they do. That was a good idea to push out from secret though, to push this angle, because then you just kind of like the people here like what do they see? They don't see anything. You all left. They could probably like go for the Dawn bar or something. Dawn's not a great dive target, but please don't stagger or else you lose. Oh, actually he killed Damba. Hey, cool. I didn't actually notice that. Hey, so they dove something in and they're winning. Wow. Okay, so now it's like, okay, yeah, I like holding up here, because if you're trying to dive this area, that's like super hard, because you have to cross a lot of open space to get there. So I like holding like this sort of kill box, because there's less space to cover. Rom's dashing, that's the go signal. Yeah, there you go. They used ults, which sucks, because you might not have time to rebuild them, but like, they're like, okay, cool, let's go on their offline, let's collapse on their offline, and they did. If you're Pickled Pepper, then the people not getting dove. Okay, I like that they're pushing up. This favors the comp roll. But like, if you're Pickled Pepper, you can't like not do anything about that. You have to have the people who aren't getting dove play more aggressively, and you have to probably use ults. Speaking of using ults, this is fine that they're using ults like this. Like, if you're Flashpoint, because it means they won't have them to break them. Somehow they're winning this, sort of winning this fight.
Alright, they're getting hot. They're getting hot.
Dex is popping off and is actually top damage on his team. That's cool. So yeah, it's like you don't really like you still the comp still works the same. It's just up here, like, and you don't care if you lose. Please don't back up slowly. Like, don't back up slowly. You have this entire. You have both teams have like not crossed this line. All of this game has happened over here. And like if you had like a, I don't know, Zin over here, then like these people are scared because you have this angle. That's, oh, he doesn't even get the kill. Yeah, kill the rest of the team and then turn for the NR. Vex, does Vex win those? Vex doesn't win those. Okay. The moment they get split. Just the moment they get split. Oh no, he's gonna stagger. Wait, does he get out? That's actually a really good ult. But now it's like, as soon as they're not diving, man, and they staggered. They staggered. Alright, that's unfortunate. Alright, so I'm not gonna say that was lost in draft. I wasn't lost in draft, but oh boy, you could have had a much easier time. So I'm gonna take that away because I need to get the replay ID and the password for the next game. So I don't think I can leak those. So we're not gonna leak those. But we will be getting into the next game as soon as I get this done. See, if you're Flashpoint, just pick a different comp, man. Solo tank ROM is so hard. I probably should have looked at the draft before because I just saw everything that they picked. So let's go on to the next game. Here we go. So this is Flashpoint's map pick now. Bright Marsh, cool. It's pretty standard. All right. If you're Flashpoint, honestly, Viv ban on this. Yep. Viv sucks. So if you see Shaw Cassie again, you got to consider what backlines are up and the champ pool that console backlines have. So there's Tyra, there's Victor, sort of Leon, and like Andro are like the big ones. Oh, and Talus exists. Ooh, Talus exists. So it's like, what do you want to do in draft? You just want to take away the busted thing and then deal with the Victor? Because you can deal with the Victor, right? You can take like an Eevee or something, right? You can, if you really want to play that aggressively, this map works a bit better for it, or maybe not as much. But like, if you still want to play that aggressively, then yeah, you can do the same thing. But like, you can get rid of the harder stuff to dive, right? Like, I'd much rather dive like a Leon or a Tyra than a Vivian, I think. Like, they're not great dive targets, but. So how do Flashpoint want to play this? Genos? Okay. So now you can essentially force a Corvus ban, otherwise you're saying, okay, our DPS are just going to have an advantage in every fight for the rest of the game. So now Victor first pick isn't great because, again, it can be Dove. So it's like, do you want to set up to dive the Victor, or do you want to take the Victor and play around it? They're going to take the Andro. So that doesn't show much. That's just a solid pick. Also, that's probably the best flank for console. Anara, so Pickled Pepper's going to play off point again. And Victor. Yeah, that's standard. Yeah. So now it's like, okay, Flashpoint, how do you want to deal with this? Because you can either go for like a Term and Grover and just say, all right, we are actually going to outburn you on cap. Or you can say, all right, we're just going to dive again, and we're going to take Rom, we're going to take Furia. Or actually, Grover works really well with dive on this map because roots are huge and you can set them up pretty easily. Or like, how do you want to deal with this Flashpoint? Like, you have options. Both of the supports up right now actually do really well in Rom, which is kind of unfortunate. If you're Flashpoint, you want to play aggressively. So the Torvald made sense in the previous game when it was like an anti-dive thing. Now I assume it's the opposite role, where it's like enabling the dive. I assume it's enabling the Andro to dive the Victor is what they're going for. Then I don't really get the Damba. Like, I feel like you'd want like a Grover or a Furia. Ideally, you'd want Jones or Corvus, but you know. And Lex. That might be. What happened to Lex? Did Lex get touched up or something? No, but that might just be a takeaway, honestly. Like, it doesn't anchor super well. I think it's underrated. There's a Cassie pick. That's fine. Like, now what are they going to take after? If they use solo tank, okay, cool. Receive Vex Torvald. So if you're Flashpoint, you don't burn point better, so that means you have to go in and take space somewhere. Which is probably going to look like Andro diving, getting Torvald bubbled, Cassie taking a really wide angle. And then you can turn on. I'm not sure what the Nando does. Like, Rom is open, or Ashe is open, you know? I don't know what Nando does. Like, I feel like he still gets shredded by Victor and doesn't win anything. He stalls, which might be what they're going for. Also means Wrecker kind of screws you over. Now, if you're Pickled Pepper, you can either go for like an Ashe or a Khan and just like try to match their offlane, or you can go for another DPS, or you can go for another heal. Like, you have options here. It's like, how do you want to deal with this aggression? Because now Flashpoint has shown their hand. You can go for like focusing on this game and just play like super beefy. You can go for Ashe and just say, no, we have an offlane too, and we're gonna match your offlane, and then you're gonna have to fight our offlane instead of having to fight our backline. Or you can do like a, I mean, usually be like a Kashi Shaw sort of thing, something that does really well into flanks. You go Zen here if you want to go triple DPS and sort of anchor apps. And that way, if the Cassie ever tries to get that really wide angle, she has to deal with the Zen first. Like, you have a lot of options. So I go Khan. I don't know how I feel about Khan. Like, it's an off tank that plays slow. You could have also gone Atlas. That would work too. Khan's probably the off tank that gets screwed over the least by silence, so that might be it. But I'm not sure how I feel about it because I feel like Cassie has a good matchup and Angel can float over the shield. But we'll have to see how that works out. Because I haven't messed around with Torvald in a long time. Alright, so it's the same thing as the first game. Flashpoint have to go in. They just do it a bit differently. And Pickled Pepper need to stay alive, but they do it a bit differently. It's actually just the same game. So let's put this back up. Also, if you see any like this thing over here, this is a bug. Just ignore that. Oh, I've got the team names messed up. Do I? Oh, I bet. Oh, I do. Okay. And then Pickled. Yeah, Pickled Pepper's F10. Okay. Discovery makes sense, because console Discovery Lux is kind of gross. So most of this game is going to be decided by what happens over here. So let's get an angle to set up for that. So that's interesting from Flashpoint is that it looks like they want to sort of give this area. Oh, why is that transparent? Where did I change that? How does this work? Ah, okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, wrong button. So Flashpoint sort of wants to do this rotation and have Cassie back up, and then like hopefully you get a pinch somewhere in here. So, ooh, that's a helpful button. And then Pickled Pepper is literally going to be doing the opposite of that. They're going to push out this line with their offline, and then these people are going to have to rotate like this or something along those lines. That's going to be the general rotation. If any of these teams do not make those rotations, they're going to get pinched and caught out and probably die. So, and I don't know how I feel about dose ups going straight to point as well. What I feel like you could do. So let's draw these lines again. Let's do. So Pickled Pepper is going to be pink, and Flashpoint's going to be blue because that's their team colors right now. So what you could do, if you had dose ups, you could put him here, and that way he stops this. So then all of a sudden you give up point, but you have this, and all of a sudden they can't push this anymore. So they get stuck in this area. There's a lot of colors and it's very pretty, but essentially you have two offlines and you pinch them between the offlines. If you give up cap, but you win the fight. Fisheko lived and Field died. Like there you go. That's individual stuff. Like they didn't rotate in time and Fisheko did. So they gotta pick for it. Fisheko's playing very dangerously. Yeah, okay, that was strange. What was he doing? He said, yes, let me 1v1 this presumably stormable as Khan. Who bought Life Rip? Oh, Victor. And now, like... Now, oops. You lost your person there, so all of a sudden they just, whoop. You see how, like, Flashpoint, or Pickled Pepper have this much space? And Flashpoint have, like, oh, that's not blue. Flashpoint have this much space. So, who do you think wins that? And now they have 50% cap, so it's like, okay, Flashpoint, are you resetting? Are you dying? Do you have a choice in the matter? You probably have to give here. Yeah. So, both teams got caught out by the other team's rotation, and then Fisheko fed. Well, no, Fisheko didn't get caught out. He just walked at a con. Which is awkward. This fight doesn't matter. Like, it's cool, but... So, again, same thing. If you're Flashpoint, you're going to need to push up. That's unlucky. Again, you go for 2 fights? I think that's fine if you go for 2 fights. Really good aggression from Pickled Pepper. And now, like, if they stagger here, they just die. Forward bubble's a bit early, and... Where's my pen? hey guys, let's watch T-Mac kill everything, and you know, grab your popcorn, and they let him try to 1v5, and wow, it didn't work. If you're gonna go for that play, the rest of your team needs to be going as well, because otherwise it's just one person feeding, even if they have torp bubble. Yeah, and okay, reset call comes in.
Real talk, I'm gonna stop that guy.
They do that because if they don't, then they get slowly staggered because it's a 5v4, and then the cart's slowly rolling the entire time. Oh, they're still staggering. Tank's dead late. I mean, yeah, so they didn't aggress when Sheko went in. And then Victor just blew him up. And goes in because they staggered. So it started off well for Flashpoint, but then they lost a lane and they gave up too much space for it. So with ults involved, Pickled Pepper can sort of, I mean, call out on the Cassie is super scary because then you force that lane to be given up like it's a kill, right? It's essentially the same result as him feeding last time.
Capture point spawn.
You also have really, I think you have better ults, right? You just have Grover ult to respond to their dive, you have an R ult to peel, you have, I mean, Lex ult is whatever, but then Fear gets countered by Grover ult, you have Nano ult to survive the dive. I don't know, I like Pickled Pepper's comp a lot better. Oop. So we're gonna have the lanes match up this time. How do Flashpoint actually win this? Because I feel like the lanes are even. I feel like the off lane is like no one's really gonna hard win that. And then points just like you're gonna have Victor and our Grover against Fernando, Damba, Andra. And like Victor wins that. Root into con ult feels bad. Okay, that's big. So a lot of things just happened. Pasheko got picked. And Emmett Payne got picked. So now, okay, fight's just evolved into chaos. Fight's gonna be resolved in the next like few seconds. So we just traded an offline DPS. So it's pretty even. Both teams, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of gonna depend on ult value maybe. That was a really good Nando ult.
That enemy is unstoppable. Somebody
T-Mac
do
gets picked.
something.
But it's still 3v3. But, like, what are you gonna do against an Argo Victor, right? And oh, space alert. Hold up. Let's watch. This is Flashpoint's box. And oh, and then this is Pickled Pepper's like 7-acre farm, right? Look how much space they have. It's kind of weird saying like who has this space, but like there's no way like that Flashpoint control it at all, and Pickled Pepper have Emmett Payne going over there, so because there's no one in it, but like it's still under Pickled Pepper's control. And you see how Jalen gets forced back. But if you lose space, it means that you lose more space, and if, like eventually you just die. Oh, Grover. So, if both teams could remember the fact that this part of the map exists and is actually really important, that'd be fun instead of this little duel going on right here. That T-Mac, oh no, the Grover ult. Dosups dies because he has to be on point into a Victor. Vex dies because he has to be on point into a Victor. Jay and Sandy dies because like his Hanks are dead and the other team just ran at him.
Enemy dub, look out!
So, I mean, there was a lot of like, there's quite a few picks that fight, which is like not what you want to see. Like that's just individual things. So it's like I don't know enough about DPS to probably comment on them. Like if it was a support getting pick, I could tell you why, but DPS I only know the macro stuff. So we've seen this before, right? We've seen this before. But this time, I mean, Pacheco's not doing anything, but Dosups is taking space. He just misses, I guess. Okay, so let's take a look-see and see what. Oh, they're not actually looking at him, but I thought we were gonna turn around and see like 4 people looking at T-Mac sort of thing, you know? But Dosups died to an R ult. Or not to when did I hear an R ult? Oh, did I hear Lux ult? I might be dumb.
Enemy dub, look out!
Notice how they died? They reset. The cart is pretty far back, so they're gonna have another fight here. I don't know, like they got low. Like that was the same mistake on the first mid on the Jag game, where they got low before they went in, so they didn't actually have enough resources to take the fight. Like the same thing with Wonderful there. Like why are you choosing to go to their spawn? Like, you just got wall force, he used wall, he got DR force, he's half HP, he's gonna force Grover cooldowns. Like, he took up so many resources when he didn't need to. And you have respawns, and a fight that you need to win. So again, like, where do you want to push out? Where do you want to go? You need to deal with this somehow, right? The Victor there? Let's actually back up so we can see him. Oh, we can't really back up. That's the best view I can get. Ah. I think Dosup's got con grabbed, which is unfortunate. But I really want to see how this would be going if what do you call it? If Flashpoint ever got a draft where they won a slow fight, like if they actually had like the Inara Victor, something that just had initiative, how would they be doing? We're just loading up the next game. I said I wasn't gonna do this. I'm not gonna look at what they're playing. Ron Stonky. Okay. Draft. Okay. Oh wait, we're on Ice Mines? Did I put in the wrong game? Oh, they put this. Wait. Ah, yes, they put in the wrong map ID. Okay. Oops. Might have spoiled the result of this next game, considering this is a best of 5. Alright, let's pull up the actual Ice Mines game. Did I enter this right? Replay IDs being 10. Oh, no, that's not it. Replay IDs being 10 digits now actually sucks. Like, it's just weirder to keep track of. Alright. Again, not trying to look at drafts, but yeah. Shawban, console back or PC backline. Sure, they're trying to get the advantage of that, and Flashpoint have had enough. We saw the Victor ban earlier too, so turn ban means that you're probably gonna like try to prioritize. Oops, I forgot to pause the game. That means you're probably going for something in barn, right? Trying to pick like an Anara or a BK or a Dredge. Like that's what that tells me. They go for a Jan. So that's weird. It means you're either going double support, which is fine, like Mega Potion Pip is fine here, or you're going really aggressively on Ice Mines for some reason. So that's interesting. If you're Flashpoint, you have your pick of everything. You can get your tanks here. They just took a support. You don't have to worry about your support. You probably know which support you're taking after they lock that, because you know how you want to play this now. Like you say, okay, we're gonna play around. We're gonna grab the Inara and we're gonna grab like a Con or an Atlas, and then we're just gonna like play off cap. Cool. And okay, we want Damba for that or whatever, you know. So it's like, okay, where do you want your advantage to be, Flashpoint? Do you want it to be in your tanks, or do you want it to be in your DPS? Looking like tanks. So turn ban, if you're first picking generals, turn ban doesn't make sense to me because Inara and Term are pretty comparable, and by banning one of them, you just gave Flashpoint an advantage. And Corvus. So, like, I guess they're scared of Genos Corvus, which is, like, understandable, right? But also it's Ice Mines. Like, you can have your tanks block out the Genos Corvus enabled DPS, right? Like, if they have, like, a whatever, like a Tyra. I don't know. What would get pocketed by Genos Corvus, like, on Ice Mines? Like a Zen? Like, you have your Atlas match that, and your Atlas might not win that, but he doesn't lose it either, because he's getting pocketed by the support. Because if they have Genos Corvus, they win by their DPS winning, so your support puts your resources into stopping whatever's stopping what their win condition is. I hope that made sense. Double support. So it's like, okay, do you want to play FCAP? Do you want to play fast? And they do get Zen. That's probably Guillotine. So now it's like, okay, Flashpoint now, it's like, where, how do you want to, like, you're set up to play off cap with an Iron Corvus. Like, Corvus is still a lot of healing. So you're probably looking for a beefy off tank and high damage backliner. Assuming that's how you want to play. High damage backliner, good on ice mines. And you want to flex your last DPS because that has more counter pick potential. So like you're definitely looking for an off tank here if you want an off tank at all. I guess they just want to secure the good matchup in Barn. Like that's fine. Like if you don't care which off tank you get super hard and you want to prioritize the BK because you feel like, hey, I want BK here. I want to have like a really good matchup into their Zen. That's fine. That's also a good pick. So now if you're Pickled Pepper, it's like, okay, how do we win? Like, do we want to like just take good ults? Like, do we want to take like I don't even know what you take. There aren't like the turn ban hurts so much, man. Banning main tanks ends up screwing over one team so hard. Like they have a ban turn and first pick an R. Like I feel like that's fine, but like Nando exists actually. Nando exists. I forgot that Nando existed. So Nando's a good pick for them here. Yeah, sure. Nando? Yeah. So again, how does that draft win? Like what do they do that says, okay, if we do this, we win? You don't burn point better, I don't think. Right? So that's like, okay, well we have this dredge, but like we don't. What's gonna poke out the Tiberius? That's Pip. Okay. Both teams running solo tank on Ice Mines is really interesting to me. I feel like an Ashe for Flashpoint would have just like won the game. Not gonna lie. Because we're gonna go into game. I'm gonna show you why I think Ashe would have won the game. Let's wait till everyone gets mounted. Okay, so we're gonna stop here. Catalyst is interest. Yeah, everything's pretty standard. So here's how I see this is gonna happen, right? First of all, issue that I see with Flashpoint's comp. Let's pull up the pen. So, oh wait, I should probably switch the teams around. Or is this right? No, it's not right. Okay. And they have nothing and are down 0-2 to Pickled Pepper. Okay. So we're gonna do from, well, if you're Flashpoint, which is red, you're gonna have Anara. Actually, we're gonna draw letters. You're gonna have Anara, then Corvus, and then like Tiberius, and they're gonna be in like this general area in Windows. And then you're gonna have BK. Drawing letters with a mouse is difficult. And like Anara and BK are just gonna be playing this area, or more like this area, right? Because contesting this area called Barn is super important. And then if you're Pickled Pepper, first of all, I assume you went Guillotine, right? He didn't. That's weird. Let's line this up again. And then I feel like if you don't have the Pip, right? Like I assume Pip's gonna be in this general area. Like he could play over here, and like that's fine. But I feel like he wants to either stack. Like you could put Pip in one of these windows when like you're stacking a lot of people, and like I don't know why. I feel like if you have Ashe, and you know that this is the comp that Pickled Pepper have, Ashe just goes Nyom, and all of a sudden you draw the line here, and then you have so much map control that like, what's gonna stop you from just slowly choking them out, right? Not much. Which is why I don't like Pickled Pepper's draft, because I feel like this is what should happen if the other team takes an Ashe. You're gonna have like Fernando. You're gonna have like Genos up here, Grover up here, Fernando, Zin, and Dredge, and they like all want to play over here, right? And they want to control this area. So then you have like Anara go here, BK can sort of back up, and then you can give them this space, but you still just draw the line like that. And if that happens, or I mean, you could probably send like Dredge or maybe Zin, someone. Here, we'll just put a question mark. Someone's probably going to be over here. That's a question mark, by the way. Let's try to fix that. Is that better? That's not better. That's the worst. Let's draw an actual question mark. Is that good enough? Is that good enough? So you have someone over here, and they're gonna like, and this with these two drafts, you can have someone like fighting the Pip over here, right? And they're gonna be like, ah. But if it was an Ashe, you can't fight that. No matter what you are, it's a tank who's just gonna bully you out. So this is where the line would be drawn if Flashpoint took an Ashe or maybe even a Rom. But as it is right now, the line's gonna be like here, right? So it's much more even. So that's why I don't really like the draft. And then also, what I feel like is gonna happen is that Tiberius is like, what pokes on Pickled Pepper, unless they went binary. No, they didn't. What actually pokes out the Tiberius? What pokes this guy out? Like, it's Grover, right? It's Grover. Grover doesn't win that. Like, he can stall for a bit, but eventually Tiberius is gonna win that. So usually that's fine, right? Like, you have the Grover, and like they're fighting the Tiberius, and that takes one of them out. But eventually the Tiberius is just gonna be able to turn on point, help out Barn, and I don't know. It's like, I feel like Flashpoint had the chance to just hard win this game, and they decided, but we want good ult instead of we want 75% map control. So let's see how both teams actually play this. I'm curious what goes stage for Pickled Pepper. Please tell me someone got dismounts. Did anyone get dismounts? That's unfortunate. Corvus and Barn is really interesting. Okay, so like Pickled Pepper have decided to give up this area for funsies. Like, at least Flashpoint have someone like contesting this LOS, but eh. Like, if Vex is smart, you don't have much. I assume he doesn't like have much pressure, like practice on DPS. You rotate more this way, and you get this cross angle. Not like from specifically there, but like you can play like this corner, and you can play behind these cover and this cover. You can play here. You can play this. You can go up to here. You have a lot of options that he's not really taking advantage of. Like, see how this Tiberius has just been free? Like, look how much ult charge he has. Holy. Like, can you predict what I'm gonna draw? Like, look at this. Look at all this map control, boys. And Flashpoint have like this. Well, maybe not that much. Maybe like this. Right? It's not great. And because of that, you don't have point under your control, you just slowly lose point. And Vex got a pick. And now it's at the point where Flashpoint have enough cap percent where if you run and kill them all, you win. So that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, you just run them over, because like you have 4 people, they have 3, you win those. They also only had Genos and Grover and Sin, like that's not much damage.
Alright, they're getting hot, they're getting hot.
Vex has all. Is he running?
Quit whining and get on the payload.
Oh, he's not even running the ult charge card. Holy, he's just fragging. This is the part, by the way, where like you ult just to show them that you have ult. Like, haha, your Dredge only has 45% ult charge, and I have built mine. So now, so you might think, hey, okay, let's wait for Corvus to stop shooting. You might think, hey, this is the corner right here, right? You can hold the line here. That's not actually where the choke is. So there's a choke here, there's a choke here, and there's a choke, like, the cart stops here, basically. Because if you hold this corner, then Flashpoint can send someone around like this, and then the back line has to like leave, and then that means that these people just fall over because you cut out the back line from under them. So you hold it here so that you can still like sort of contest that, and also shoot. Okay, so like we're gonna talk about like what you can actually see from. How do I? Okay, let's go down. Let's see what you can see from this position. So this is where a lot of people hold, right? So if you hold this area, you are going to be fighting people over here, and then the other people are going to be right here behind this wall, and your tank is going to be right here. You can't shoot these. Oh, let's get the yellow. You can't shoot these people. You can only shoot these people. So your tanks are taking a fight by themselves, and you're taking a fight against these people, which means that this is heavily favored in terms of the attackers. So you hold back here so that these people have to be, they have to also be in your LOS while you're holding. So if you're Flashpoint right now, that means that you actually have to send someone over there, which is probably Tiberius. You can do that because you can keep them up with a Corvus Merc. And then if they send like a tank to deal with them, then you just run it down main. Let's see how they actually play this out. BK's taking the other angle, which like is fine, but Tiberius pokes better, so oh no. I don't think you should shoot there if you're BK. Like I think you just walk up on them and you catch them by surprise when you get closer. Maybe. That might be dumb. So somehow Pickled Pepper have managed to, I guess they killed someone. They managed to get up to like the first choke. It's like this is where sending Tiberius around would be really good because then he can play like a corner back here. Like he can play like here or here. And then just like he has the option of when he wants to take the fight. And you pinch them. So now we're going to slowly back up. Oh, Vex. That was the same thing as the Andrew, right? He just went in by himself. So Pickled Pepper isn't like particularly holding this right. That was such a wide peek from Genos. But it's like Flashpoint aren't punishing them for it. This isn't actually where the choke is. Pick, unfortunate. Another like, I mean, you're also fighting head on to a dredge, which is like generally not the best idea. So that mistake's gonna mean that they'll be able to hold the choke over here, which is good from them. It's a good job. Oh, nice lift. And staggers and staggers. You can keep going if you want. Someone's, did he accidentally TP or something? What's he doing back there? Okay. Flashpoint regroup. Wonderful's kind of on an island, but okay, that was a feed. And now you gotta back up. This isn't the level of play you expect from your tier 1 scene, right? You don't expect holding the choke bad, not recognizing the other team's holding choke bad, and then like 5 picks. Like that's not the level of play you expect from this. This legitimately like it could be a ranked game. Another pick because you had to back up instead of holding your line. Genos lives. Oh my god. Okay, I thought Sheko was gonna die. Oof, okay. And he gets out because he has TP. Cool. Next up, on still holding the wrong choke. Wait, is that? Alright, let's see it. Space being created. So now, this happens. You have 3 people looking at you. Does he have dash? Okay, he didn't have dash. That's why you don't use mobility to get into fights. But while that's happening, they needed to play more aggressively up in mid. Like they kind of just sent like 3 people at him and then didn't lose the 2v4 in time for like it to actually matter. So now, however, we get into the real Ice Mines game of who has more master riding. Oh, I didn't mean to hit that button. Of who has more master riding and who can get dismounts and ults. Result free on Nando is actually pretty big because it means it counters Pip. It counters 3/4 alts. Oh, can someone get dismounts, please?
Capture point spawns in 15 seconds.
Like, both teams should be getting dismounts. Any dismounters? Any only one master riding? Did they even go for dismounts? No. Oh, Corvus went for dismounts. Very good. Okay. Did you do that first round too? That wouldn't surprise me. But Grover should have been going for dismounts 100%. Like, master riding is more important than any item on this map for sports, just because you can get dismounts and it's huge. Like, you can literally build like 30% ult charge just by like hitting a big root. So Pickled Pepper have realized. Let me see if that kills anything. Okay. Oh, okay. It's Vex. He's dead in a second. What I wanted to say is that Pickled Pepper have realized that giving up most of the map control is bad, and Flashpoint has forgotten that having most of the map control is bad. You see how like Vex like wasn't looking, and how the Zen was just able to like run up this way for free. Vex has LOS on all of that. There's no way the Zen should be able to do that without at least using some cooldowns. So that's a mistake. And then good Corvus ult, but unfortunately you don't have anyone to like capitalize on it.
Alright, they're getting hot. They're getting hot.
I can draw a box again here if that helps prove what I'm saying. So let's talk about zones on ice mines. Let's talk about zones. Don't, because of this, pretty much. They're gonna get a retake. Like they have enough time. They're gonna respawn. They are going to get a touch. That's just something you kind of have to know if you're playing in this level, because like it's happened enough times to you in scrims. 30% is like unless you team wipe them all at once, then you can hard zone it. And that's probably a suicide zone. That's gonna be close. But Flashpoint's gonna have another recontest here, so you set up the exact same way as you did on the mid, and you literally just take another fight. Like, you're super far up here for no reason. Like, you might get caught out. Oh, that's gonna be a big Fisheko. That was nice mind games from Fisheko. Just force Grover out by waitlisting forward. He's gonna chicken after too. He's gonna get like 2 kills. Actually, I might get encountered. What I'm trying to say is that why is Pickled Pepper taking this fight in the first place? Like, they just won a fight by not doing this, right? Why would you do? Why? You know how your comp works. Your comp doesn't work by taking a close-up fight like this. Your comp, like, you won that you won that first fight because you go to take space, not because you like held it or anything, right? So like, just go do that again. Now they're backing up slowly, right? Like, Grover's not in the ideal position. Genos isn't in like perfect position. And Flashpoint just comes back and uses. Oh, that's a good ult. They use ults and they killed the Fernando.
Enemy dub. Look out.
I don't know if, can somebody please just like pay attention to, I mean, I guess Vex is dead and Zen is dead, but like, please pay attention to stage. Oh my god, they still have chicken. Like, they're literally just like playing in this box. It's Chicken Fernando. Oh no, why didn't you Chicken Fernando? You have like 3 people who can look at him. He dies. I'd much rather kill the Nando than the Genos, because that means they have to send squishies to touch instead of someone with a big shield. I mean, okay, so Vex is about to kill everything. See how much space he just made? He just forced out the Dredge and the Grover by himself? Not by himself, but... And then the Nando died because his backline gave up? Or didn't, well, gave up space?
Defend the payload.
Guys, it's not complicated, people. Hold map control, please. Soft zones are not complicated either. And like, yeah, sure, if you're new to scrims, if this like, or if you haven't scrimmed, or if you're new to scrims, these are totally new concepts. These people have been world champion, and these people were PPL. This makes me frustrated because they're not playing as good as they could be. Let's please send Vex around. Please send Vex around. Okay, I mean they used ults and ran them over. Like that's yeah, whatever. Like there's nothing much to go over there. They hit alt button and won.
Somebody do something.
Like ults just give you like that big an advantage, right? Like okay, I was gonna oh that actually hit actually hit an R. Like ults make a fight that like wasn't in your favor, right? They're ults, they're strong, so they used ults, they got value out of them. Good job. Actually, Corvus is 67. Holy. Also, Pickled Pepper kind of staggered. Notice how the cart was up there. Like it was up here, and now it's all the way down here. And like, there's a choke here, and there's a choke here. There's a choke here. And they just said, nope, we're not gonna fight at this one because they staggered. Yeah, so now if you're Flashpoint, you kind of just want to control this area right here. And then Pickled Pepper, oh, you actually don't have something that pokes super well, so. Okay, this HP card has saved Vex twice now. So, it's usually what you do if you're triple DPS, right? There's this big scary DD up here. Usually what you'd do is you'd angle like something like this and try to like poke out the people over there without actually fighting that person, right? You can stand like here, or you can stand like here and fight the people over here. And then you just try to turn it into a 5v4 just based off positioning. But it's a bit weird since Pickled Pepper don't actually have someone up there, right? Who's gonna stand up there? So now it would just be a matter of, okay, who can we run over probably? And that's probably the Zen. Like, the Zen's not in a great spot right now. He has nowhere to back up to, right? Like, if he gets poked out and billows, where does he go? He just dies. So now I'd be saying, okay, let's put most of our resources into the Zen. It's only a matter of time, yeah. Like, and then, oh, does he loves that, yeah. So, like, just don't put Zen there. Like, if you're gonna hold this, like, holding people up there is so bad. It's just, God, their comp sucks at defending. Like, I think you just have to play, like, this right side super heavy. Which they are. Oh, T-Mac, no. T-Mac, no. Okay, he lives. And they committed a mortal, too. So, Flashpoint did that, like, really well. If you're Pickled Pepper, and they're pushing out this side super hard, you need to push out this side super hard. Right? It's like that Bright Marsh rotation. Right? Remember how I drew those arrows? Right? Well, it's the same thing. I'm gonna pause this actually, hold up. Yeah. If you're Flashpoint, you want to be doing this. And if you're Pickled Pepper, you want to be doing this. Oh, arrows are hard, apparently. Right? And if either team doesn't, then they get caught out and die. Like, it's the same concept. Because if you push out here, you can get this angle into the people over there, which is very useful. And then also their comp just isn't great. Like, I'd rather have the Grover up there, up on the broken Victor spot, or the Strict spot or whatever. Because then at least you have something that can poke and outpoke. Because Grover has like unlimited health. When he's like, you just get dipped into the spawn door and you're like, okay, cool, I'm full HP now. And they forced out ults too. Ah, it's not good, it's not good. Master Riding. The Genesis Master Riding doesn't have a... He still has enough to dismount the Inara, but not if he messes up. He messed up, he didn't do it early enough. Did he even go for dismounts? Or did he just buy Master Riding because it was fun? Now, you see Vex has learned from his mistake. Vex, big smart. So, he pokes out the Zen. And now, remember how I drew that line near the... There we go. That's where the fighting's happening. And now this is super even. But imagine if you had an Ashe who was like barreling down the lane. Just... That'd be cool. Now he's had to use cooldowns. He's like not super healthy. He had to use Billow to get out. Oh my god, please help him. Please help him. Oh no, Vex. Traded. And he ults and kills. Oh. Oh no, that's unfortunate. I mean, he didn't need to do that necessarily, right? Now it's a 4v3.
Alright,
3v3. That was much better adaptation from Flashpoint. Oh my god, what's going on over here? I mean, you want to look at like the macro mistakes. It's like Emmett went in too early or too far, I'd say. Like you just need them to look at you, not to like actually do anything with it. Oh my god. People who have control over stage have won like every mid. That's been the story of this game. Hasn't even been ults on Ice Mines, it's been who has control over stage. No, don't have chicken. Oh my god, can you imagine how big Core Assault would be here? Oh, it's too far up. No, you could have hit it behind Barn. So if, I'm gonna neg on this because it's a support thing. If you had LOS on this, you had LOS on this, and if you ult this, then like Nando can't back up to here, and then these people have to back up farther. They're out of the fight, so like you're not hitting the Nando with this, right? But you can split them super hard. But now they're still like somewhat involved in the fight. Hey, look, Vex has stage because Zen died or left. He goes up. Oh, he misses jump. So now they're fighting for control over it. I didn't see how Skeppy died. Or how wonderful the... Or how...
Enemy dub, look out!
They won the fight on stage, but the rest of the team fell over. I don't want to rewind because... Okay, I don't think they got OT, so I'm going to rewind. I want to see what happened. Did he wall them in? No, Dosups just killed two. I will say, that for some reason, the dredge was here in the open instead of here behind a wall. So that's rough. And that, okay, where's T-Mac first of all? Oh, he's on point. How did I miss that? So like, Flashpoint have control over this area now. So it doesn't even matter that they lost stage because they had control over the other side of the map. I mean, it matters that they lost stage, but they won the other side. So, like for really this entire game, Barn has been super free. So, or super contested. Neither's won it. Neither team has won it. Words are difficult, but there it mattered. So, there's a lesson in map control for you, and that's why I think Ashe would have just made. I don't know. Ashe would have made that game so much easier. I feel like. All right. Time to pull up the fourth and final game. So it's currently 2-1 for Pickled Pepper. Alright, let's load into the game and remember to pause it this time. So on Stone Keep. Alright. So sometimes I wonder like what the casters are saying about these games, like what their analysis is compared to mine, because like I have a much better PO, like I have third person, right? And they don't. So bans, not necessary, not the reason you lost. But it's not the reason you lost. Like it's a good pick, but it's not a good pick here. And you just ban Cassie Charlotte, and those are up now. Those are a factor you have to deal with. BK, that's fine. That's a Stone Keep ban. What's open? Genos Corvus is open now. Okay, so now we get to kind of see which team prefers which, I guess. or if Pickled Pepper are going to leave both of them open, and then Flashpoint might go for double support. You know, take Genos. I find it interesting that they prioritize Genos over Corvus, because Corvus is typically. I like playing Corvus more than Genos personally, but yeah, Flashpoint have to. I mean, you don't have to. You can give them Genos Corvus, and that's fine. You just have to be sure you can shut down their DPS really well. Yeah, I like Flashpoint's comp. Like, this sets up really well for like anything, right? Like Andro playing in church is just really good, especially if he has a Corvus market. He can do whatever he wants. So now, how do you want to play for Pickled Pepper? Probably off point with double support. And then depends how many tanks you want. So one thing that I noticed about console teams on Stone Keep is that if they don't hard out poke the other, like, okay, not, let me rephrase that. Every console team on Stone Keep drafts comps where they hard win the poke fight. Sanguine likes Victor, Vivian, Strix, like Leon, like all these super heavy backlines. So I think that's something that Flashpoint need to be aware of and don't want to let happen. So if you're Flashpoint, you can either say, okay, we can do that. You can take like Term, which isn't as great on this map, or you can do something more divey, like an Ashe, or you can just pick Fernando. I don't know. Fernando's cool. He does his thing well. Like, he buys time, but he doesn't actually win anything. He has a cool ult, but like Fernando's entire thing is that he doesn't lose quickly. He loses eventually, but he doesn't lose very quickly. That is ambitious. God, it's gonna be Vex Makoa, isn't it? This or Vex Fernando. Oh no. So Makoa is like Ashe, but worse, right? Like that's his thing, right? I assume what he's doing is diving with Leviathan. I haven't actually seen Makoa this patch. The other option is Half Shell, but if you're doing that, then it's like very stationary, and why don't you take Khan instead? Or Atlas. Because those poke better. Lux, I assume, is just meant to fight off the Andy. And then Grover, yeah, double support. So now, Pickled Pepper can play any side of the map. They can play Church, they can play Keep, they can do whatever they want. It just depends on if Flashpoint actually want to. I mean, Flashpoint wins Keep, so actually Pickled Pepper, like Flashpoint, just they use ults gooder in Keep, like Koa and Nando ult, and like I think those do really well in Keep. Then if you want, you just take a Dredge or something if you really want a hard one Keep, or you could do a Cassie or Shaw. Shaw would be cool. Kin. Okay, so we're gonna get a sniper battle. Alright, let's talk about these comps that work. Holy, they're weird. Pickled Pepper just wants to sit back and they want to burn point. And that's what they want to do. And then Flashpoint want to push out a lane with Koa, Andro, Kin as a backliner. And they want to push people into Kin LOS. I don't like Flashpoint's draft very much. Like, I don't know what it's not very clear to me what it does, and usually when I see that, it's like it's not very cohesive, maybe. Let's do Flashpoint has 1 point. So yeah, if Flashpoint if Flashpoint's draft is gonna work, it's gonna be Kin getting value and Koa Andro pushing stuff well. Visheko Makoa.
Alright, y'all, it's game time.
Is Leviathan. Okay. So something interesting about this is that Flashpoint win whichever side of the map they want. If they want to go Keep, they get Keep control, and if they want to go Church, they win Church. So this is going to be a lot of Pickled Pepper running away from stuff. Wait, just kidding. Where did Makoa go? Oh, Makoa's on the other side of the map. Aha. Hey, why would you go for that hook?
They got the first
Ow. Map control. Like, if they go Church, you need to rotate up to Keep. That's probably the Strix stealthing up and the Grover lining up. Then you have the Lex and Genos stay because they can't rotate as quickly. Oh my god, Dose Up's already like 2 HP. Like this is good rotation. Good rotation. They know they want to take a boat fight and they're going to the opposite side of the map. They don't win keep, but they'll take it. And they work well from it. So now, if you're gonna get value out of this Makoa, you need to be taking space somewhere. So that's probably like a dive onto this Strix. Okay, they got picked. Yeah, Koa didn't do anything that fight, right? It was pretty much a 5v4. And the Andy didn't do anything either. Like, Pickled Pepper just won a poke fight again. Attempt at a wall, I guess. So again, I just want to see Makoa get value somewhere. Like, if you... Honestly, why did you go to that side of the map in the first place? Like, if you want to, why don't you just do this and push these people out? You go with the Andy, and then you probably get a kill too. But instead, they're separate. And I mean, being separate is fine, but it means that your Koa might not have the best time against a console Lux, you know? That's unfortunate, but hey, look at that, Makoa getting value. He made space. But the rest of the team fell over and got picked, I guess.
Alright, they're getting hot, they're getting hot. Escort our fair lady whilst I
Yeah, I mean,
them payload tires.
I'm not sure if Flashpoint... I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I don't know if they know what they're doing, and what I mean by that is I don't know if they have like a plan. Like, they know what they're doing, but they don't have a plan. Does that make sense? Like, they're good players, but they don't have a plan. There you go, that's what I'm going to settle on. So we're attempting to full hold here. We're just going through church or through keep. Just kidding, we've died. That's a reset. So you're fine with taking a poke fight if you're on the defense because it's just easier. You have spawn. We're staggering, but it doesn't matter too much because like we still got time here.
Okay, real talk.
We still got 2 fights. So Pickled Pepper win by probably taking control of the space like below over here, or like again, you want to take space somewhere, right? You can't just hold. You can't. Oh, stop. You can't just hold. You can't just contest this line. Otherwise, Flashpoint's just gonna win the poke fight because they're on defense. They have better positioning. So you either want to play under here, or you want to push out here, or you can push out up top, but you're not gonna do that when you're triple DPS into a Makoa, into a team that has an off tank. So that's out of the option. So it's one of these lanes. So if you're Flashpoint, then it just becomes a matter of denying this high ground and managing both sides correctly. So you can sort of recognize here, like, the Strix can't play up here, otherwise he's going to die to Makoa. He can't really play down here. He's probably going to be over here. And then the Lex has to play up here. Lex has to play on this side of the map, right? Just because he doesn't do anything from over here. So you're probably going to set up your kin right here to look at the Strix and sort of nullify that. I'm going to draw this in red. So you're going to set up your kin here, and you're going to set up Koa, Andy, just to fight over this area. Kin is going to fight this area. And then there you go. You have just nullified the way they win. Because all of a sudden, if you do this, you are fighting at this line and you have an advantage. And it's pretty much a matter of time until something dies on their team. Discounting ults. That's like the very basics of it. So if you're Pickled Pepper, you have some options. You can either say, actually, we do have an off tank, and send Inara up top, which is fine. It means you give up cap, but that's fine. I don't know if I like it into a sniper, but it's not the worst idea. You can send Inara up here and like Lux down here at the same time, so that the Makoa and Andrew can't deal with the Lux, and the Lux can burn the Fernando, who's going to be like chilling in this area. You can look for a random pick with Genos. I'd definitely be using that ult, but that's more of an individual thing. Other options you have, not much, because you don't want to poke fight. You can just hope for picks. Like, you can just say, all right, like, they might mess up somewhere, and we also have Deep Roots grow over Genos and Strix. Like, we have a lot of pick potential. Like, even though they have Makoa, we have more pick potential. So we're just gonna take a slow fight and see how it goes. I don't like that at all. I mean, it's a good time for it, but those playing on high ground is interesting because it means that they give up. It means that they give up this area. That's meant to be yellow. It means they give up this area. So that's something that Pickled Pepper could be taken advantage of. Okay, huge drop. That's fine. Why is the offlane? Okay, so like we're gonna go to a POV here. Yes, look at how engaged this Kinessa is in the fight that's deciding how this game is gonna go. Kin did nothing in that fight, and it's not her fault. The Koa and the Andro just like fed. They just fed. They ran past their defense. They pushed when they didn't have to. Just chill. Playing your sniper LOS. That was literally like a 2v5. Or 2v4 or 2v3, whatever. You don't win those. You're not favored. And now, it doesn't even matter that Flashpoint have better positions because they have 3 people alive and Pickled Peppers have 4. Right? They have 4. Yeah, they have 4. It's a 4v3. Like, yeah, now of course the Lex can run up because there's nothing stopping them anymore.
Enemy dub, look out!
So, I mean, good job by Pickled Pepper, I guess. I don't know. They got, like, Flashpoint fed, and Pickled Pepper were like, okay, cool, we'll take that. So now for the mid, Flashpoint need to just play more aggressively with Thermacoa somewhere. And then Pickled Pepper also need to rotate earlier so they don't lose the initial mid fight.
Capture point spawns in 15 seconds.
So let's see how this goes. Ooh, this is... Okay, so both teams changing it up. This is spicy. So Flashpoint decide, okay, maybe we want to dive. If they go church, we'll just dive onto them with Koa and Andro. That's fine. That's a good play. And also, like, maybe we want high ground for a kin or something. And then Pickled Pepper is saying, well, they went church last time. We don't want to meet them. Let's just take the whole we have to rotate part out of it. And, you know, we'll just go keep. And then we dismount them, and then we got the poke fight that we want. And then it's really difficult for Flashpoint to actually get on top of us. So, at least I assume that's the process. It could just be we think we win keep with our alts, which like is entirely possible. If Janus ult kills someone, then you probably win, based just because it's a 5v4. But I think Koa ult is just gonna kill things. Okay, let's pause. I wanna. Oh no, who is that? Is that on the? Wait, hello? What? How? It missed his foot. That's a hook. That's a better target. Is it? Is he a follow-up? He has follow-up. That's so weird. This is, remember that ROM thing on Jag Falls where it's like you went past your tank? They went past their tank. Similar mistake. He's just gonna stealth out. So I was like, who's ult stupid? Oh no. Oh no. Winnable. Winnable? Maybe? No. I was gonna say Koa ult, but that's like old Koa ult. General Assault got kills. I mean, that's it. That's General Assault got kills. Nando went in a bit early, but... So now it's the same thing. Flashpoint, you want to take space if you're Koa, you have ult, right? That's what you want to do. And Pickled Pepper just want to run away and take the poke fight. You can't hold keep if you have a tank on. If you don't have a tank there. So don't. Where have I seen this before? Except this time Anara is not there, so they're just gonna get ran over. Just kidding. Alright, I see another mistake here. So this is something very specific to Stone Keep. I didn't see how the Lex got through, but I'm gonna assume it was this way. Or was it? Hold up, we're gonna rewind. This is ambitious. So the game didn't crash. That's cool. But when you're playing Stone Keep and you have 2 tanks, you want your main tank, usually, pushing up this high ground. And then you want your off tank pushing down here. That way, there's not a free lane open to your back line. what I'm guessing happened is that Fernando and Makoa both stacked, and then Lux was like, "Hey, that's pretty free."
Okay, real talk. I'm gonna stop that.
Okay, I actually didn't see that again.
Stay out of his way at this point.
Where was the Lux? I'm just gonna keep an eye on Lux. Ah, hey, that's where Makoa should have been. That's where, right here, right here. And if there's no one here, then you can do that. Except you're Makoa this time, and you have ult, and hopefully something dies. So he gets to the back line. He still probably should die, but
I'm gonna stop that.
he just kills everything.
Stay out of his way. Look out.
And then I mean, I guess he has to go for touch. That's really unfortunate. That is a sad turtle. And then Skeppy, I think, got a pick on T-Mac during all that. Eli is interesting. Eli doesn't one-shot the Grove with a headshot, but it almost does. So I just wanted to make sure he was running. Oh no, it doesn't. Never mind. Grove is beefy. I didn't even see what happened, but they're all dead. Unlucky. I actually don't know what happened there. So same thing. If you're Flashpoint, don't overextend past the line that you're holding, and if you're Pickled Pepper, either wait for them to feed again. That's a good option. Like that's the option I would go for. They just fed last time. Like they might do it again. Let the other team make a mistake. Play slow. They're doing it again. Okay. Well, okay. To be fair, they just 2v1'd your Lex. If there were more people there, maybe it goes better. Like maybe you Grover ult or something, you know. Makoa has ult back. Did he kill? I mean, he must have killed someone on a streak. Might have been the Lex. Alright, let's please not. Okay, why are we holding where we are? That's a super good Corvus ult. Again, like, Kin's doing her best to take part in these fights, man. She's doing her best. Of course that happens. Like, what do you expect? Why are you holding where you are, Flashpoint? Why is your Andrew your main tank? Why is your Kin your off tank? What's going on? Like here, I'll draw where they should be. Koa? Oh, that's yellow. Koa. Andrew. Fernando. Kinessa. Corvus. That's on the high ground, by the way. There you go. That's how you hold this, and then if you're losing, it's at least because not of your positioning. And now, yeah, you have to use ults, because if you lose this fight, you lose the game in the set. It works, which is like fine, but also I don't want to say it shouldn't have worked, but like why did you have to make that work? Also, the card's right there. If you lose this fight, you probably goes in and you probably stagger and die and lose. Stop. Oh, Jalen messed up his knife. Like, why are you holding up here where all of a sudden Pickled Pepper's just like, wait, we don't have to like make something happen anymore. We can just kill the people who are like too far up. Oh god, they can just make a beeline for the Kin and the Koa can't really do anything about it. Is he rotating back up to high ground? No? Okay. So we're just gonna let them win this lane over here. We're just gonna say, you know what, you can have this space. What's going on over here? He's not having a good day. Didn't know they introduced crouching in Paladins. They push out a lane. So there, I mean, that's another example of like, I really wish I didn't have to hit tab every time, but it's the only way I can move my cursor. Flashpoint pushed out this, and there wasn't any pushback, so Flashpoint just took map control compared to Pickled Pepper's map control. And now he's Traded, it's fine. Vex get its cool angle. Nothing. Where's the Andrew and Makoa stopping this Lux from doing this, right? Oh, that's a pick. And then Dosubs dies because he had nowhere to back up to, because his Koa and Andrew weren't in the right spot. T-Mac gets a pick. Skeppy gets a kill. Pacheco is giving up alt charge. You have yeah, this is over. Yeah. Flashpoint Y. Wait, do they? No, there's no way. Okay. Well, that was fairly disappointing. Alright. Well, hopefully Flashpoint learns how to hold that choke finally. Do we get to see standings at some point? Oh, here we go. Aha! I didn't realize Pickled Pepper was actually doing that well, and oh no, Flashpoint. Oh no. Oh, I guess the other teams haven't played yet, so that's fine, but also, oh no, Flashpoint. Hot take? Maybe, well, not a hot take, but if you ask me standings for, like, how this split's gonna end up, we're gonna have, let's draw this out. We're gonna have Snappin', Snappin' at 1, Sanguine at 2, Prolific at 3, Pickled Pepper at 4, Project at 5, and Flashpoint at 6. That's my predictions. You could maybe like switch these two, or maybe these two, but these two are definitely top 2, and this is definitely the worst team in the league right now. So, hot take, but maybe not a hot take to people in PPC, but you know. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and see you next time.